Hey everyone, Matt here with Reverb.com. I wanted to talk with you today about the Softube Console 1. This is a very cool product from Softube that's got some great emulation of the famed SSL 4000E console that's been heard on countless recordings over the past few decades. It really allows you to take your eyes off of the screen of your DAW and focus on mixing with your ears instead of your eyes, which is very, very refreshing. First thing, I want to take you over sort of the layout of the Console 1. You'll notice that it's sort of like a channel strip on an SSL console. Instead of being vertical, it's just flipped horizontally and laid out in a really nice form factor. Let's start up top. Think of the select track section as your SSL console, well, at least the first 20 channels of it. So as you can see on my screen, if I click this one knob, it pulls up my kick track. My second one pulls up my snare top track. I can go all the way to 10 and hit my drum bus. You get the idea, all the way down the line. Now you're not limited to 20 tracks, just like I have 21 tracks in this session. If you click these two page buttons right here, we'll take you to the next page. There's my very last Lonely Harmony as number 21 on the second bank, and you can page back and forth really easily between the two. Now below that, we have our input gain over here. We have our high and low cut filters. Think of those as, a high pass and a low pass filter. This button, what's really cool is you can choose to have these filters affect the compressor in that channel or not. Beyond that, phase inversion, which you'll see on every channel of an SSL 4000. All right, so the first section I want to show you on the Console 1 is this shape section. It's not quite a gate, it's not quite a transient designer. You can use them sort of separately of each other, but where it gets really powerful is when you use them concurrently. I've got a session pulled up here. It's the snare bottom microphone. I'm getting a little too much rattle when I'm hearing the drummer hit the toms. That's popping through, so I want to gate it a little bit. I want to take away a little of the attack and leave that to my snare top mic, and then I want to give it a little sustain so when you're hearing the snare you can really hear that rattle. All right, so engage it by clicking the shape button right here. Gonna gate it a little bit. You'll start to hear all that resonance go away. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of sustain to this. I'm gonna take away a little bit of the punch. All right, so I've got our drums soloed out. I'm gonna play this back for you so you can really hear what this shape tool is doing to that snare bottom mic. Here we go. There's off, there's on. See how you're getting more of that snare resonance? That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, the equalizer section comes next. Here you just have your low, low mid, and high with their associated frequencies. You can select between cut, bell, and shelf on these high and low frequencies. And then on the mids, you set the width of your cue with these two knobs right here. I'm gonna start with this left one. Now I could use a little more of the high mid range, so I'm just gonna select a frequency here. It's right around 3.5K. Gonna give it a little boost, adjust the cue to be a little more narrow. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to that right one. Little muddy in the lower mid, so I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit of those out. Right around 1K. Adjust the cue a bit. Okay, so now if I solo these together, sounded really good together. So there you go, that's the EQ section of the Console 1. Beyond that, Here is the compressor section. Very standard compressor settings: attack, release, threshold, ratio. And what's really cool is you can blend between the dry and the wet signal to run your compression in parallel without needing to create a bunch more tracks in your DAW. Let's listen to this guitar lead and see what we can do with the compressor that's built in here. So to give you some context, here is what the mix sounds like with the lead as it is. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and solo out that lead track and see where we can get on the compressor with the Console 1. All right, so first I'm gonna bring this threshold down just so we can start seeing some gain reduction here. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna go a little heavier on the ratio. I'm gonna make this attack just a little faster so it grabs those notes. So that's with the compressor. Hear how it's bringing all of those notes to the forefront. Let's see what it sounds like in context with the mix. All right, another really cool feature on the Console 1 are these drive and character knobs. What I love about these is you can really start to emulate the harmonic distortion and tonal qualities that you get through the SSL 4000 console. So let's go ahead and pull up a bass track from this mix and see if we can sort of get some harmonic distortion going and give that bass some extra growl within the context of the mix. Sounds pretty good. Let's see where we can get with this drive knob here. Hear how it starts getting that harmonic distortion sort of in those low mids. That's what we're looking for. And the character knob, you can hear the brightness start to increase, and you can really hear it start to get to a point where it's gonna sit with the drums nicely but also pop through on its own. I'm driving down your street 'cause I feel lonely, and I hear you laughing at me, only chasing the sunset. Hear how immediately it's not overwhelming, but you can hear every single note that that bass is hitting. It seems to sort of surround you with the drums, and you feel like the rhythm section is really locked together, popping, ready to go. Now, what's also really cool and very flexible about Console 1 is you can actually change the order that each of these modules runs in. Sometimes you want your EQ before your transient designer, after your compressor. Sometimes you want your compressor before the EQ, sometimes you want it after, and you can do all of that with just one click of a button right here, and it makes it very convenient so that you can just cycle through them. All right, thanks guys. I'm Matt from Reverb.com. Hope you enjoyed the video of the Softube Console 1. If you're interested in trying it out, if you're interested in purchasing one, head to Reverb.com now. I'm driving down your street 'cause I feel lonely, and I hear you